WESH 2, this is breaking news.
And that breaking news, former Seminole County tax collector Joel Greenberg just appeared in federal court and agreed to a plea deal on several charges.
That plea agreement includes guilty pleas to 6 charges, including sex trafficking of a child, production of false identification, aggravated identity theft, wire fraud, stalking, and conspiracy to commit an offense against the United States. He was originally facing more than 30 charges, which he initially pled not guilty to. Under this agreement, Greenberg would have to register as a sex offender.
WESH 2's Greg Fox is live outside of the federal courthouse in downtown Orlando with the latest. Greg.
Yeah, and this hearing lasted about 45 to 50 minutes. This was conducted by the magistrate, Leslie Hoffman. And essentially what she did, if a lot of people were thinking that going into this hearing, there were going to be a lot of other details about potentially related cases, potentially, as we've been reporting, possibly connected to allegations against Florida Republican Congressman Matt Gaetz. There was none of that in this hearing. This was a reading of much of what we brought you first on Friday in the pleading to 6 counts out of the 33 guilty. Greenberg came into the courtroom in his blue Orange County jail jumpsuit. He had shackles on his wrists and his ankles. He had what looked like maybe a few days growth of beard and a very, very short haircut as he sat down next to his defense attorney, Fritz Scheller, in the federal courthouse here. He has agreed to pay restitution to the victims in this case. That would include the 17-year-old for which he pled guilty to having sex with a woman under the age of 18. There's going to be restitution for Brian Butte, the school teacher who ran against him for a tax collector last year and who was the victim of a stalking and smear campaign by Greenberg to discredit him. He will have restitution. There was an attorney for Seminole County government here because remember, as the tax collector for Seminole County, at times Greenberg would spend his money on behalf of the county. And one of these charges that he pled guilty to is that he stole $200,000 from Seminole County. So there will be a restitution to Seminole County in this case. Again, a lot of this is uncertain. The only thing that the judge did during this hearing that's going to matter going forward in related cases in which Greenberg might be able to testify and potentially against Congressman Matt Gaetz if, in fact, he is charged by the Justice Department. The only thing we know is that it's possible he could have a downward a reduction in sentence. Right now, it appears that his minimum mandatory sentence in this case is going to be 12 years. That's related to the sex trafficking of a minor and the aggravated identity theft to which he pled guilty this morning. So it's at least 12. It could be more. There could be potentially 20 or 30 years that he's facing, but maybe they'll keep it at 12 because he cooperates in some way in testimony in other related cases, and not just involving Matt Gaetz, but potentially other political figures in and outside of Florida. Once again, this hearing is concluded. Joel Greenberg will head back to the Orange County Jail. There will be approximately 75 days before there is a sentencing, so that takes us to roughly the first week of August. And we'll have much more on this coming up on WESH 2 News at noon today. We're live at the federal courthouse in downtown Orlando. Greg Fox, WESH 2 News.
Greg, thank you. This plea agreement also means Greenberg will, quote, provide substantial assistance to prosecutors.
And based on that plea agreement, Greenberg admitted to introducing a minor to other adult men who engage in commercial sex acts with the minor in the Middle District of Florida. Greenberg is a close associate of Florida Republican Congressman Matt Gaetz, who the Justice Department is currently investigating. However, it is important to note the congressman has not been charged with any crime at this time and denies any wrongdoing. WESH 2 has multiple crews at the federal courthouse right now working to bring you comprehensive coverage of this breaking news.
Be sure to stay with us on air and online for the latest. We'll also be back with more on WESH 2 News at noon. But for now, we're sending you back to regular programming.